My name is Ali Marguerite. I've been playing music in Montreal for, I think, about 8 years now. Yeah.
I'm Tyler Parent. I've probably been playing, I guess, in the local scene for about 10 years now, give or take. Mostly her. Old Time Honey is, I would say, mostly Ali.
Yeah, Old Time Honey is a project that I started back in, I think, the end of 2012, just as a way to make money in the metro, honestly. I had another band at the time called Their Cheap Winos. That was kind of more of the stuff I was writing. And then Old Time Honey was kind of like a way to give tribute to music from the 20s and 30s from New Orleans. But I just kind of started to love that project so much more that that's kind of what it continued under. And we started writing original music, or I started writing original music for the band, I guess, probably 2014, when we started collaborating with the circus company. And now pretty much play original stuff. So.
I think it's coming up to like 3 years that I've been in the band, so.
Yeah. I think before I even had an experience playing an instrument, actually my first word was piano. And my mom has this whole theory about how I must have been a piano player in a past life. So yeah, she was desperately trying to find someone that would start teaching me at a younger age than the piano teachers normally take students, but no one would take me until I was 4. Which is fair. So yeah, my first experience playing an instrument was piano, and I was just so ready for it already.
I've been through, I don't know how many instruments since I started playing. Like any kid, I played guitar for a little while. In high school, I got put on the French horn and the flute, despite wanting the trumpet or the clarinet or something else. I didn't have a choice. Now actually, I wouldn't mind playing the flute a lot easier.
To carry it around.
Other than that, like I bought an electric bass when I was like 18 or 19, played it for a few months, didn't really get into it. Then it's also playing upright bass, like rockabilly kind of slap style, and it's like, oh shit. And I did like 6 months of research and then bought a bass with my own money, and it's been like 10, 11 years, about, yeah. My parents listened to eclectic mix. I guess like my stepdad was more like the stoner acid rock hippie guy with, turns out, Miles Davis, which I recognized recently. I said, oh, my stepdad's listening to like Miles Davis, but also Bob Marley, Pink Floyd, Dead, all that kind of stuff. And then my mom was more like punk, so a lot of ska, like kind of like goth style music, but like Violent Femmes, like that kind of like all that kind of stuff. And then I spent a lot of time at my grandfather's, so that was a lot of swing and classical playing on the radio. Yeah, I think that's kind of what it was like when I was younger.
So when I was younger, the kind of music I grew up around was also very, very eclectic. My dad is like a huge music fan. He's one of those people that had like a huge record collection. He really was into like specifically jazz sessions from like France in the 70s and 80s. So, like they had a lot of African musicians come in and do these jazz sessions. Then also like he was super into like dark wave and like synthwave stuff. Like, I don't know, all kinds of music. My mom was definitely more of like a fan of like folk and country music. Her whole family kind of sings and grew up on that. And there's actually quite a few like kind of famous like folky and rock musicians in my family on that side. So yeah, I definitely got the whole thing from her. Super musical household.
I don't talk about that. No. It didn't go very well. I remember it was my first band, and we were told the venue had a bunch of stuff, and we got there and the venue didn't have any of the stuff we were told they had, so then we had to like find a vehicle to drive across town to get stuff from my place, like a half hour, 25-minute drive there and back to finally start, and then there's no sound man, and so we just
So fun.
Yeah.
I think actually my first experience playing live that's like not a classical piano show, it would have been when I was about, I think, 14 or 15. Me and my brother back in Saskatchewan started a post-hardcore band, which was very cool at the time. It's very cool still. But anyway, we had a band. I think we had a different name at first, but we ended up being called Orion. Yeah, it was kind of like a mix of like hardcore and metal and all these different things. And we were so young. The age for drinking in Saskatchewan was 19, and we were underage, obviously, because I think, I must have been 15 and he was 13. So they would often like put a little section in a corner for us to like sit in, and we couldn't like go anywhere else. It was kind of awkward, but I don't know. I always loved playing on stage. Like I'm a really shy, awkward person in real life, but on stage I've kind of always been comfortable. So I would say it was like great, my first experience playing live. So When Old Time Honey as a band started busking in the metros, we actually met, I think his name is like Tuba Bob, but he was a train hopper that came down from New Orleans, and he kind of showed me how to play all these, I don't know, they were like, he called them password songs, and it was just kind of like a certain amount of covers that you could, if you wanted to go to New Orleans, you could go and play those, and like other street musicians are going to know those songs, and you can just fly with that. So I don't know, it was like this whole underground world I hadn't known about. And then when I was kind of reading more about the history of music, I think I was like watching that really long, like 7-hour history of jazz movie, really focusing on like how there was like this blues music and like spiritual music and just classically trained people coming from Europe as well, and like all this music was clashing simultaneously in New Orleans, and that's kind of how, like, I don't know, jug band music and all that stuff kind of came out in the 20s and 30s from this like clash of all these different kinds of music coming together. And it just, I don't know, that seemed to me so down to earth. Like I was really tired of the superficial world of what's going on in pop music. Not that I don't love it, like it's fun, it just wasn't for me. So like learning that there was these like secret old songs that people all knew together, it just felt like a little secret I was coming in on, and that's definitely where that sound comes from in our band. Yeah.
And I think also too, like you have a bit of a classical background.
Yeah.
So some of that blends in. I'm coming from, again, like folk punk, rockabilly, folk bluegrass, and now jazz background. So like that's coming in now to the sound too. So we're kind of like, it's a similar happening. It's you know, it's like taking some of the classical, taking some of the folk stuff, and smashing it together to create what we're doing right now. So
yeah, I've kind of lost the words to describe what we're doing now. Sometimes I just call it folk because it's like
alternative folk, contemporary folk, or something. Yeah, I
called it dystopian Disney princess folk at some point.
Yeah.
No, but we're planning to next January. Next January is the Folk Alliance Conference, and it's going to be in New Orleans, so we're definitely planning to go there. Yeah, it's kind of just like a big showcase for all the folk acts in the world. Everyone comes together and plays in a hotel. It's super weird, but so yeah, that's our New Orleans plan, winter of next year, which is not too far away.
Well, I was down there actually for just like not enough time. I was down there for a week, and it's kind of crazy. You get off I came in on the train, and going through town to my friend's place, there's like every bar, there's like live music coming out, starting at, I mean, there's like jazz brunches, you know, but then all day long, all afternoon, you can find klezmer and jazz. Well, I'm sure you can find pretty much anything, like any time of day there. It's kind of wild. But, well.
And then we had, was it last summer? No, the summer before last summer, we actually had like 3 or 4 guys came down from New Orleans, and then formed like an 11 or 13 piece band to do some busking on the streets.
Yeah, we actually recorded an album, or like Ali recorded us.
We did a whole live off the floor album when it was like plus 38 outside.
Yeah.
It was hot. Yeah, and I don't know, like in Montreal, people are like coming and going all the time, so it can be kind of hard to get people to stay in the same place and play music with you, that's for sure.
Yeah. We'll try to find a violin player who stays.
Who stays in Montreal?
It's been a challenge. I think the band, since I've joined, it's been through 3 different violin players.
Yeah.
If not 4. No, I was going to say not because it wasn't working out, just because they're like, okay, I'm going to Europe or Cuba or.
Yeah, but no, I think for that reason, that's why we've really like focused on playing as a duo. You know, like we really enjoy playing as a duo. And I don't know, like I kind of. Like for certain circus shows, we've gone up to 9 members in the band. Like it really depends on like what the need is, you know? So yeah, in terms of like looking for something in a bandmate, no, I honestly would say like I would take a really like nice person over like the best player. Because you spend so much time together, and we've toured across Canada. It's a lot of time together, a lot. And it's just really important to be around, I don't know, people that can not scream at you or things like that.
People who don't want to murder.
People who don't want to, no murdering. Yeah. That's the best. I don't know. I really like where we are right now as a band. So yeah, we really do want to focus on the band as a duo.
But we haven't brought any new material in since releasing the album, and we've just been kind of working on refining like a duo routine. So like I'm trying to flesh out my bass playing a little bit, and we're trying to find different ways.
Bass solos.
Yeah, like taking bass solos now.
Yeah.
Just trying to find ways to flesh out the sound of the duo instead of necessarily bringing in the material. So yeah, just more refining than anything else.
So I think in terms of like choosing what songs we cover, In terms of it being level, Duke, that was really I want to play this in the Metro choice, you know. I was like super obsessed. I got obsessed with people and then I move on. But yeah, I was obsessed with level Duke for like a little hot moment there. She's a fascinating woman. Everyone should learn more about her. I think because she also is like Anglophone, a lot of people don't know that. And I always like had a hard time when I first moved to Quebec, like feeling like I wasn't connecting with people because I didn't speak French. So I learned a lot of French songs and a lot of it was level Duke. And it was kind of, yeah, a way for me to connect with people in the Metro that kept going, en français, s'il vous plaît. So that's where that came from. So yeah, I host a night every Monday called Chick Fic Mondays. It's at Grumpy's Bar. And that night is actually, I've been hosting for just over 3 years now, but the night itself has been going for like 12 years now. Yeah. And actually, Chick Fic was my first show in Montreal. So it's got a really special place in my heart. That went well, and then I got to play Chick Fic, and I loved the night so much because it just felt like, it felt really safe, you know, like it's sometimes it's scary, like as a woman, to get up on stage, especially if it's like only men working the soundboard and stuff like that, and maybe they treat you like you don't know what you're doing there. So yeah, Chick Fic was, I don't know, it felt so safe, and I've always loved that night, and I kept coming back to it. And I remember, yeah, 3 years ago when they asked me to host it, I actually had to like drop out of my bowling league. So that was really sad. Yeah, but I've been hosting the night since then, and I host it along with Gurn F. Belchek, who's kind of like a local legend. He's a barman at Grumpy's Bar. He's been the barman there for a long time. He was in a band called United Steelworkers of Montreal, and he's even released a book about touring Canada as a DIY musician. So yeah, the night, it's like every week. We have like an opener. Sometimes they're local, sometimes they're Norway, you never know. And yeah, it's just a really good chance for someone who's seasoned or totally new to come and like share what they're doing for a good like half an hour to 45 minutes. Like it is a bar, so like it's kind of loud. People do talk over top of people, and that's just normal when there's drinking going on. But in general, I find that Grumpy's is just like a really good place with good regulars who are respectful to the performers, and yeah, it's been a really cool night to host. Yeah.
I mean, the DIY scene here, it's not, I don't know if it's an easy question to answer.
Yeah.
It's pretty broad. There's all sorts. There's people doing folk, people doing rock. There's people like musicians putting on shows for the musicians.
Yeah, the DIY music scene in Montreal. I don't know, like I recently started playing more house shows, which I kind of forgot would exist here. I really like it. Like people are chill. Everyone's there to eat and listen to music, and there's like a dog. It's great. So I've been enjoying that a lot. But yeah, like a place like Catacombs is actually super affordable and gorgeous. And I don't know, like I think we're lucky to have spaces like that. But at the same time, we've lost so many spaces, you know, and it's just like, it's getting scary. Like I really hope Montreal doesn't go the way of Toronto and Vancouver in terms of losing its like mid-range spaces, you know? Vancouver's got these big spots, and then it's got these little cafes, and that's about it. And that's happening more so in Toronto. I can definitely see it happening here, and it's scary.
I think it's one of like the last mid-range venues that is accessible to like people on a budget.
Yeah.
As well.
Yeah.
Because Tivon Hall shut down,
yeah.
And that was one of the only other places that I know of that's like was kind of known and with a good sound system and with like a good reputation. So
sure.
Catacombs is like, I could be wrong, I hope I'm wrong in saying it, but like one of the last holdouts of like that style of venue, which as like a DIY musician, it's a little bit scary. So hopefully those kind of spaces do survive for a long time.
Keep going to shows, everyone. Keep it good. Oh boy. I actually think we're in the works for planning this year, probably a Quebec tour alongside our friend Meredith Moon, who's super great. I think she recently moved to Montreal from Toronto. So yeah, we're looking at the end of July to do a Quebec tour. We were going to do the Canadian tour again, but I missed staying in Montreal in the summer. It's been like 4 years I'm not here in the summer, and yeah, I'd love to stay here and busk, and we'll probably do some like pop-up performances with circus players in terms of busking. Yeah, I really will be focusing on recording more live videos for us, and then we've already started making plans to get to Europe by May of 2020, so that's kind of, this year is going to be a lot of working towards that.